Hello, my name is AJ Pruitt and I'm the author of the Anathalian series, and I'm also an editor, and in this video I'm going to tell you about my editing services and the 4 types of editing. So if you just want to know the 4 types of editing, keep watching. First I'm going to tell you about my editing services really quick. So the price, the thing everybody wants to know. The price is $0.008 per word. So however you calculate that, however long your manuscript is, it's per word. And what you get for that price is all 4 types of editing. I'll do all 4 types of editing and 2 rounds of editing. So how that works is you send me your manuscript, I edit it, do all 4 at once because my brain works that way. It's hard for me not to do all 4 at once. I do all 4 at once, do 1 read through of it, and I send it back to you, and I can't even think of the word right now. You put all the edits in that you want to, and then send it back to me, and I do another round because changes have been made, because I don't find everything, because I'm human. I do my best, but I'm human, so I may miss things, but I do my best. And then I do the second round, all 4 types again, send it back to you, and it's yours after that. So that's what that price gets. I do, if you want like another round of editing, it'll be half price of the original price for another round. But most people don't do that. Most people feel pretty satisfied with that final second round. I have had some people ask me about a scene, and if it's not very long, like a page, I just do that for free because I've already helped you so much with your book. Why not help you do another page? It's not that much. Okay, so, and then I like to print off the manuscript, and I do that with a lot of authors. If you're in the US, I live in the US. If you're in the US, I definitely ask you about it. I have some authors who are out of the US, or authors with short stories, and I'll just do that on the computer on my phone, the editing there, because the cost of shipping your manuscript to Canada or something is a lot more than to the US. And also, if it's a short story, sometimes it's worth. I have an author who's local that I do print off the manuscript no matter how long, because we sit and we go to like a coffee shop and talk, and it's fun. But if I'm sending it, if it's just like a short story, then I may or may not, depending on what you want. But I'm flexible. If you just won't work well with me writing all over your manuscript, like you send me a copy and I print it out on my home printer, and then I write on it and I mail it to you. So, it's not like your one precious copy. I print it out. And, but like I said, I'm flexible. So if you just couldn't handle me doing that and that wouldn't work, your eyesight or something about how your brain just works, then I'll do it online. It doesn't matter. You're paying me to do it, so I'm going to do it how you want. But most people end up really saying, you know, I wasn't sure about the printing out, but I really like it. So just remember that. And I work with authors however best fits their needs or wants. Some people prefer to communicate after each chapter. You know, I'll get done with a chapter and I'll send them an email saying like what I thought, and here's what you could implement. That's the word I was thinking of. Implement. That's the word I was thinking of earlier. These are the edits you could implement here. Some authors say, you know, here's the manuscript. Don't talk to me until you get their editing done, and then just send it to me, and that's enough. That's all I need. Some authors like to communicate through messages back and forth, elaborating more, whatever. I'm flexible. I'm open to working with you however much or however little you want. And I treat your story like it's your story. As an author, I know the fear of an editor getting a hold of your story and like wanting to change it and make it something different, and make it not yours anymore. And I do my best whenever I make suggestions, even to change 1 sentence. I do my best to look at your style, to examine your style, because that's part of my job, to analyze your style and think about how you might write it and give suggestions that way. Even down to like 1 sentence. When I give suggestions, I try to do it in a way that you would probably do it, from the information I'm given in your manuscript. And so I'll point out everything I notice. I'm not ever going to be like, well, I don't think they'd like me pointing out this one thing that's wrong. I point out everything I notice, but I always try and do it in a tone of, you know, consider doing this. I found this, but I'm not sure if it's like a secret for the next book in the series, and so I just don't know yet. I let authors know that I am not the one who should determine what happens with your manuscript. I'm going to give you all my suggestions, and you do with it what you will. So I don't want to be a bossy editor. I want to be your editor who you hire to do the job for you and for your story. Okay, so that's what I offer. And what types of books and stories do I like to edit? So my favorite is fantasy. I will always love fantasy the most, and a fantasy story is going to make me super happy. But the only kinds of stories, I am so sorry. So sorry about that loud car. It makes me so mad when he does that. Anyway, I don't know who it is, but if I did, I'd have words with him. Anyway, so the only books I won't do are erotica and horror. Just not my genres. I don't want to get into those. Yeah. So those are the only ones I won't do. I have done adult fantasy, middle grade fantasy, young adult fantasy, historical romance. I don't read much historical romance, but I've done it, and the author was satisfied with it. Action stories. I've done a Bible study, nonfiction Bible study. My husband's a pastor. I've been teaching at our church for like 10 years or something, so I'm up on my studying the Bible. I know about that. So if you have a Bible study or biblical fiction, I'd be a really good editor for that. I've done contemporary stories, I've done short stories, I've done children's books. So I've done a bunch of different things, enjoyed them. The clients I've done them for have enjoyed me editing them and think I've done a good job. I'm super happy whenever, I mean, like, I haven't had one complaint with my editing clients yet. Maybe they haven't told me if they've had any, but I haven't had any complaints. They all who have had other books have said, I want to come back to you again when I have another book. So that's really awesome, and it makes me really happy. Not trying to brag, just letting you know people like my editing, and it makes me happy. So maybe you will too. Okay, and the content. The content that I won't do is excessive cursing or gore. Some of my clients have had a lot of gore and not a lot of cursing, but some cursing, and that's fine. But like, I'm not gonna edit something that has like 15 curse words on each page just to have them thrown in there. If you have like 5 or 10 throughout your whole manuscript, I'm not gonna like reject it. I may make suggestions to change them because I don't like that, and there's, you know, depending on what kind of author and image you want to represent, or if you have fantasy, because like sometimes curse words sound weird and wrong in a whole different world. But that's beside the point. I will be okay, and I will edit just some cursing, and I have a pretty high tolerance for gore. I may suggest toning it down a bit if I feel like it's too much. But like if it's just like just there for tons of dramatic effect, I'm probably not gonna want to read that. Like, I'm pretty queasy. Blood makes me throw up. It just does. Like, my husband got a cut on his finger, and I was like, ugh. And the one thing that I feel more strongly about, no sexual content. Like, I'm okay with a kiss. I'm okay with a little bit of a steamy kiss. I get a little bit uncomfortable. But I'm not gonna do, like, bedroom stuff. Like, none of that stuff. No. Hands under clothes. We don't want any of that. So if you have any of that in your story, you should probably look for a different editor than me. I don't do well with that stuff. So, okay, so that's everything about my editing services, what you get when you hire me as an editor, what my range is. And so now I want to tell you about the 4 types of editing. Alright, so the 4 types of editing that I do, that most people agree on, these are the 4 types of editing that cover pretty much everything. I'm going to summarize these because they each just cover a ton of different specifics. But I'm going to kind of, and there's some overlap with them, but I'm going to go into just like summary. So the first one, developmental editing, is big picture editing. Think about like character development, story structure, plot holes. These are the big story elements. I do that. I have had clients who said, I don't want developmental editing, I think I've got all that taken care of, do the rest. And I'm okay with that. Still the same price because I still have to do pretty much as much work. It's a little bit less work, but still like the reading through of it. And my price isn't that high. So if you just want the other 3, that's okay with me. The price is the same. But developmental editing is the big story elements, the big picture stuff. Okay, the second type of editing is content editing. Some people also call it line editing. I like content editing better just because it just kind of summarizes it better, the idea. Because content editing is smaller storytelling elements or techniques. It's like the pace, the flow of your story, the style, your style, the style's consistent throughout. It's the active verbs versus passive verbs. Use active verbs. It's point of view issues. If you move from point of view, move out of, like, if you're using first person and you move into third person, I point that out for you. It's consistency overall, all areas. Just like consistency in story, consistency in details, consistency in your style, consistency in how the book is written and how the characters act. How the characters act kind of goes into developmental, but that's kind of the overlap. And it's like showing versus telling. And so it's how you're telling your story. That's the content editing. And, yeah, so that's content editing or line editing if you like. So the third kind of editing I do is copy editing. And this includes, okay, this is like the super technical stuff that you may not understand what I say. This includes aspects of content editing and proofreading, yet focuses on consistency and the correctness of technical writing. It's this consistency of facts, correct spacing, correct use of dashes, correct use of punctuation, the correct use of things. It's me looking through your manuscript and making sure things are correct. And that kind of overlaps with proofreading, kind of overlaps with content editing, but it's its own thing. I'm not going to get into the details. If you want to ask questions about more details about any of this, please do. But like, I could talk for years about one of these things, but I don't want to. I want to try and keep this video where people will actually watch it. Okay, so the last kind of editing that I do is proofreading. And proofreading, most people know what proofreading is. That's the kind of editing most people think of when they hear editing. Proofreading includes grammar, includes spelling, punctuation, and just obvious errors. So if you hire someone who's just a proofreader, they're not going to go into all the other stuff. They're just going to kind of look at the grammar and the spelling and the punctuation, obvious stuff. They're not going to go into all the story elements and all the deeper things. But I do all of those. I do the deepest stuff. Like developmental will be like the level 1 editing, not like the least amount of editing, but what you should do first. And that's why some people have come to me and said, I've already done this part. I just need the other stuff. I need someone who like understands the technical stuff that not everybody cares about. And like you do developmental first usually, and then you get to your content, and then you're ready for copy editing, and then you're ready for just like the last little detail stuff. So some people, some editors like to do different levels, and they are just one kind. But like I said, my brain just does it all at once, and it's hard for me not to do it all at once. Like even when someone asks me just to do one, I'm like, oh, and I see that, nope, I'm not being paid for that. I don't need to do that. So my brain just works that way, and all of my clients have been satisfied. I know some people say you shouldn't do all at once, don't do that, but my brain's just crazy that way, and people are satisfied with it. So I have clients backing me up that I can do this. And those 4 types of editing cover pretty much everything you need with editing. And my last thing is, if you need an editor, please contact me. I'll put my website below if you want to do like a more private message, and you can email me from my website, or you can just message me here and ask me questions about any of this stuff, or about your story, or if I'd be willing to do your story. Just message me about anything. I am open for clients right now, open for doing editing right now, and I enjoy editing a lot. It makes me happy, and I work with my clients, and I enjoy working with them, and helping them be really satisfied with their stories. So, loud car. Got our windows open today because it's such a beautiful day in those loud cars. Anyway, it's gone now. So, please share this video, please like this video, please save the link and get a hold of me later if you'll need an editor later. Please comment and tell me about editing, and if you like doing your own editing, or if you hire an editor, just do all those things you're supposed to do with the YouTube videos. This is the hardest part for me wrapping up. So thank you for watching. I hope you want me as your editor. Bye.
If you want to know more about Anna Thalian or H.A. Pruitt, please follow me on Instagram at H.A. Pruitt. You can find me on Amazon as an Amazon author, H.A. Pruitt. Please watch my YouTube channel and all my cool videos on my channel, H.A. Pruitt Anna Thalian. You can find me on the Facebook page, H.A. Pruitt Anna Thalian. You can follow me on Goodreads by the name H.A. Pruitt and the book Anna Thalian, or you can go to my website where so much cool stuff about Anna Thalian is. The website is hapruitt.com.